Hey there, hi, and konnichiwa. Thank you everybody for tuning into another StarCraft 2 broadcast. My name is Anaris. Today we're here watching a game from the Sunday Champions Trophy Tournament featuring Spanishiwa spawning up here as the yellow Zerg against his tealish opponent OptikZero of Team FX Open. This is from the round of 16 on the North American server. Grand prize for this tournament was $250, and the grand finalists are going to receive a killer 2100 Gaming Network card. And already we're seeing OptikZero sending that rally point out to check for the Overlord, which you see will be spotted in just a moment or two. Yep, sure enough, there we go, popping out. There's the Overlord. He knows exactly the spawning positions, so we can expect to see him maybe adjust his build accordingly. Now, Spanishiwa, I'll go over a little bit of player information first. Real name is Michael, 17-year-old player from the USA. Obviously a well-known Zerg in the StarCraft 2 community. Actually the origin/creator of the Ice Fisher build, which emphasizes heavy use of static defenses, unupgraded Zerglings and Queens to defend a natural expansion. And oh man, this probe! Oh, Spanishiwa does not like that probe right there. You see it is being chased around non-stop by a whole bunch of drones, finally settling on that one there. So, anyways, Spanishiwa is on Team Vile. That's actually the same team as another one of the StarCraft 2 players/commentators in the Game Station network. That would be StarCraft. He's also on Team Vile. So pretty interesting little note there. Now keep in mind that Spanishiwa usually does go for that Ice Fisher build, but you see how the probe did actually block it, so Spanishiwa is going to have to adjust. He's already just going ahead and throwing down the gas and the pool. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him while we continue to talk about OptikZero for just a minute. Like I said, he is a member of FX Open Esports, a very, very popular team. Among other players, it also has Chef, a very popular Zerg player. I do like watching his live stream a lot. Real name is Carl. He is actually from Canada. And as far as recent events go for the players, OptikZero actually took first place in the number 15 Complexity show match against Princess, and has also taken first place in a few Craft Cups for both the North American and the European server. Up here, Spanishiwa is going ahead with the expansion. You can see dropping that a little bit after his spawning pool. You see he is not working on upgrading just yet. Obviously does not have enough gas to do so. Not really worried about it at this time. You see at this point, you see he does have 6 Zerglings going to be heading out. So we're going to see something a little bit different than the Ice Fisher build, which is not something that we've seen from the games that I've cast on my channel recently. So far, the only ones we've had him do usually just have the Ice Fisher. So we'll see. We'll see what exactly he is going to do in relation to OptikZero up here, who does have his top of the ramp walled off. Everything looks good there. May try to bust up in here. I do like, actually, I want to point out real quick, Spanishiwa doing a pretty good job of rotating the Zerglings there that were attacking the Zealot. Unfortunately, not quite able to bust through that. You see the Zealot still is left with 76 hit points. And, yep, Chrono Boost being doubled up there for another Sentry and the Warp Gate technology. OptikZero obviously a little bit concerned that he could be facing some additional pressure here soon. Also, notice that you see Spanishiwa is definitely sitting on almost 400 minerals there for a second. He is definitely spending that down now. The inclusion of a Roach Warren, and also the fact that he has transitioned back to having 3 drones on gas. He's getting the metabolic boost upgrade. That's definitely going to help him a lot. These players are spawning pretty close to one another, definitely close for aerial harassment or something like a warp prism. That could definitely come into play. But for now, OptikZero is content with going ahead and getting that second gateway now and taking that early expansion. Now, as far as Spanishiwa and his recent gaming history, you know, he hasn't taken any major tournaments, but he has still managed to get his name out there with a number of medium-sized tournaments, such as, of course, you've got the StarCraft Reddit Opens. You've got I think he played in a whole bunch of Complexity V showmatch series recently, and he actually took first place in 3 of the 4 most recent ones that he played in. So, very interesting player to watch. It's actually really funny here that that Spanishiwa's build is really effective, partly because a lot of players just don't really know how to handle it very well. Now, I was very excited that we were able to get a hold of Spanishiwa for this tournament. As some of you probably know who may be following the SK tournaments, we've had some difficulty getting some players for the North American server, mainly because of scheduling conflicts. But for this tournament, we got a whole bunch of top-tier players. We've got, obviously, FXOptikzero, Spanishiwa, LZ Gamer, we got Stalife, oh god, who else? We got Select, we got QXC, we got a whole bunch of more players that I just can't think of off the top of my head. But it's a very, very solid lineup. And yeah, I've definitely got a bunch of games to bring you guys. Also, we have the games from the European tournament. I'm going to cast those for you as well. Apparently they're pretty epic. Speaking of epic, it looks like Spanishiwa is able to get some Zerglings in here. Going to start taking out those probes, while the Roaches are going to be able to take out the gateway. Good force field placement. But you see that Spanishiwa, having already got some of these Zerglings passed, is able to start working on some of these sentries. He's already taken out one of them, and with the Roaches here continuing to do this damage against the gateway, it's going to bust up the wall and force the sentries to spend even more energy trying to keep out the same forces. FXOptikzero, of course, has spread out the force fields a little bit better that time, rather. So Roaches still could not get in there, but he is going to be in a little bit of a pickle right now, folks. As more Zerglings are coming down the line, we can see that Spanishiwa has pretty much cut all but one drone from gas and is focusing entirely on Zerglings. And now FXOptikzero with the probes over here trying to tank, maybe call or frontline defense unit. If he can, drop some additional structures here, because he is definitely going to have to fall back now. With only one Zealot here on the front line, a couple Stalkers, and a Sentry, it's not exactly the best unit composition for dealing with a massive swarm of Zerglings. FXOptikzero is doing the appropriate response. He's trying to get in those Zealots. He has fallen back to this position. It is pretty easy for him to defend. You can see, all you've got to worry about are 2 or 3 Zerglings attacking one Zealot at a time. But the problem is, his expansion's going to be going down. There's not a lot FXOptikzero can do about this. Down here is a much wider open area than right here with the ramp, obviously. And this is what Spanishiwa is going to try to actually keep him from acquiring, is a good defensive position here, again, to fall back at. But with plenty of Zerglings still down here, and a number of them up here actually kind of keeping FXOptikzero on his toes, forcing him to warp in some additional defenses. There's another 50 energy that he had to spend defending his ramp while he warps in more units. The loss of this Nexus, man, it is really going to hurt him. I think FXOptikzero was planning on Spanishiwa going for that early expansion with that hatchery going down. I don't quite think he was ready for such an aggressive early play with the Zerglings like we saw, or else he probably wouldn't have got quite so many maybe Stalkers, maybe come down here and kind of held off on the Nexus for a little bit until he had enough of a force to defend against what we had coming. But I don't know, at this point, as Spanishiwa has definitely claimed the bottom portion of the expansion here for FXOptikzero. He is going to be facing continued pressure from Spanishiwa as he continues to try to push up the ramp with the Zerglings from, you see, his expansion, which is now starting to become saturated. We can see the results of this attack so far, that the Protoss has definitely lost a lot more resources than his opponent. 4K to 2,700, and there goes that proxy pylon. He could have used that to maybe warp in some Zealots from behind, and with the force field here, maybe put in a couple Zealots here and start pushing in, sandwich the Zerglings. Not going to happen now, though. FXOptikzero trying to drop that Nexus again. He's got about 200, 300 minerals saved up in the bank right now. Question is he going to be able to hold it? Right now, you see, he does not have any Zealots right now. Just a bunch of Zerglings which are running in perfect position. Look at that completely. Wow. That was a great run by there. Wedged himself right here in between the ramp and, well, anywhere else. That was fine. Completely isolating FXOptikzero. Probably just a second where he wasn't actually paying attention to that. Just caught him completely off guard before he could get up the ramp, and that's going to be GG for game number 1. Spanishiwa taking it here on the Shattered Temple. Let's go on to game number 2 and see if it's going to be a 2-0 shutout or if we're going to push it into round 3.